So tomorrow morning will be the first, right in the morning we'll start the fast. Now, there are 4 major fasts. And, right, that is, well, we have Tisha B'Av, we have Shiva Asar B'Tammuz, we have Tzom Gedalia, the third, right after Rosh Hashanah. And then we have Asar B'Teves, right? These are the 4 major fasts. And the reason why we have them is because of the bad things. Seemingly, something tragedies happen, and therefore we fast on them. And this is even from the Navi. The Navi says that there are Tzom Revi, Tzom Chamishi, the months of. There's a Tzom. Tzom is a fast. There's a Tzom of the Revi. Revi is the 4th month, right? That would be Nisan, Iyar, Siv, and Tammuz. So Shiva Asar B'Tammuz is a first. And then you have Tzom HaChamishi, that's of. Then you have the next one is Tzom HaShvi, that's the 7th month, which is Tzom Gedalia.
Yeah.
And Tzom HaSiri, we're in the 10th month right now, Asara B'Teves. And all these things we're fasting because there were different tragedies that happened, and the point of the fasting is to wake up our hearts to do tshuva. It's not to, just to be pained. The end is not to be pained and to feel hungry. The point is to wake ourselves up and to start thinking, why am I here? Am I here for my body? Am I here for ruchnius, to grow? And then you'll start to think about what we're doing wrong and try to improve to become complete people.
Not to use the pain of tomorrow, but if anybody would like.
Okay, thank you. And then we'll remember the things that the past mistakes that have been done by different people from the last generation, which continues till now, and that causes the gullus. Okay, so that's the first thing. So and therefore it says you should have v'hisvadu. You should say vidoy on avoinam, on the avoin, on the sins. We should do tshuva with vidoy and should start to think of what we can improve on. So that's the point. The main thing is not the fast. You have to fast, but it's only a trigger. It's only supposed to trigger off in the mind how we could do better, because that's what it says by Ninveh, that Hashem saw ma'aseihem. He saw their deeds. So it doesn't say that Hashem saw the fasting. It says that they fasted, all the people and all the animals, even in Ninveh. You used to look in the Haftorah there on Yom Kippur. But it doesn't say he saw the fasting and their sackcloth. It doesn't say he saw that Hashem saw that. It says he saw their fasting, he saw their maisim, their actions. So the tainus is the preparatory stage to do tshuva. So the Mishnah Berurah or the Chafetz Chaim says that if the people are very foolish, if they do their fasting, but they go for tiyul, they go for a hike while they're fasting, so they miss the point of the fast. They think it's just a day off. No. And this is it's from the Nevi'im. The Nevi'im, the prophets, ordained that we should fast. Now, what happened? So we have different things happened on each day. On the Shiva Asar B'Tammuz was 5 things happened, but we want to focus in on today. Today is going to be, let's see how he brings down Tisha B'Av. Sar B'Teves. Samach Melech Bavel Nebuchadnezzar Harasha Yerushalayim. Nebuchadnezzar, he laid a siege on Yerushalayim, and he brought it that they were in a lot of pain, and it was pressure, a lot of pressure, and from here started out the Churban. This was the first step of the Churban.
But that's the first base of Mikdash.
Nebuchadnezzar.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. So since that was the start, that he laid siege, and that was where the pressure started, and they were all hungry, and from here, this was the first step towards the Churban.
Wasn't Nebuchadnezzar the son or something? No.
He was right by Purim.
He was
by.
How are they related? Which one? There was a relation between.
He was right before, right? We say
okay.
we say in Purim,
Okay.
we say
He was the grandson of or something.
I'll tell you what it says.
No, I think that he's before Haman. Is it Haman or it's Haman or it's Haman?
Haman and Achashverosh are the same. They were the same time. They were. Haman was the first in command for Achashverosh.
No, but the relationship between
Achashverosh and Nebuchadnezzar, I think.
Yeah, Nebuchadnezzar sent he sent the Jews to Galus. Yeah, Nebuchadnezzar was the king of Bavel, and he was Mordechai was the son of Yoir ben Shimi ben Kish, they were exiled. Okay, so therefore he says, since this is the start of the siege and the start of the whole Churban, the destruction started from right here, therefore the Chachamim have said that we should fast and we should look at our deeds on this day. Okay, that's the halacha.
So that has to do with the first base of Mikdash.
Well,
the first base of Mikdash is...
No, wasn't it the Mishkan? There was something to do with the Mishkan.
No, because when you lose the first base of Mikdash, then you lose really the...
There's something with Shiloh.
There was this Ruchnius that existed in
no,
the
this
first...
is not what Shiloh, but okay, so...
There was this Ruchnius that existed within the first base of Mikdash that did not happen in the second base.
Yes, that's true.
Like you had the Kohanim had more power. Their breastplate would light up.
Right. There was more.
There was a more connection between the Hashem and the Kohanim.
That's true. The second, right. There was more miracles that happened in the first base of Mikdash. Okay, now let's turn to Parshas Vayechi. And this is a fascinating parsha. There's a lot to go into here.
So my cousin told me that in the blessings of the sons, we see the insight that Yaakov did know or did find out about the fact that Yosef was sold. And he says that the way we know that is in the blessings and the curses.
Yeah, so one place is from right over here, because he told Shimon and Levi.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Ready? Everything? What do you got?
I'm just. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, so I want to show you here what we have here. Nathan is bringing down a proof from the bracha. So I'm going to show you one example that it says in Parak Mem Tes, Pasuk Vav. So it says in that pasuk, Shimon and Levi speaks about Shimon and Levi.
Yeah.
And it says, right? You see where?
Yeah, Shimon and Levi.
What page are you on?
276.
276.
So in pasuk Vav it says, "B'soidam al tavoi nafshi, b'kalam al techad kivadi kiva apam hargu ish." In their anger, they killed a man. They killed the city of Shechem. Uvirtzainam ikushar, and their ratzain, their will was to uproot a shar, an axe.
Their
will, they had a ratzain, they had a desire,
right,
to uproot an ox. And which ox is that? That's Yosef. Yosef is symbolized by the ox. That's the animal that he represents. So they tried to uproot him, and Rashi brings down clearly that it refers to Yosef. As we say in the last parsha of the Torah, it says that Yosef is Bechar Shairai Hadar Loi, that we lane on Simchas Torah. Bechar Shairai Hadar Loi, that he was the Bechar of the Shairai, the ox, and it's beautiful. He has beautiful, like Karnei Re'im, has beautiful horns, So right there you already see that Yaakov seems to have known that they tried to uproot Yosef.
What was Shimon and Levi, were they the ones that said that we should kill him?
So now we're up to the next point. Now let's turn one pasuk back, because we should start from the beginning over here.
Even when he calls him Ruvain?
No, Reuben tried to save him, and Yehuda tried to save him.
So here's what we have to get straight. So let's start pasuk 8. Shimon v'Levi achim. Right, pasuk 8, Perak Memtes. Shimon and Levi are brothers. Right? Is that a chiddush? We have to. That's an interesting idea. Shimon and Levi are brothers.
Yeah.
You have to know what's the pasuk coming to say. They're brothers. We know they're brothers. And kalei chamas mecheirei sehem, and their tools are violence.
Violence.
Let's see. So Rashi says, what does it mean? Shimon and Levi are achim. Shimon and Levi are brothers. So Rashi says that who was the ones who said, right? If you let's turn back to Perak Lamed Zayin pasuk Yotes.
Did you say?
Perak Lamed Zayin pasuk Yotes, all the way back in Parshas Vayechi, and let's see as Yosef approaches them. So they saw.
You want me to go to Vayechi now?
Yeah. Perak Lamed Zayin pasuk Yotes. As Yosef, right, the brothers were in the city of Daisan, right, and or Shechem, and Yaakov said to Yosef, "Go find your brothers." Right? Remember that was the story. He told him, "Go find your brothers."
Right.
So Yosef was a good son, and he went straight after, as his father asked him to, even though he knew that they hated him. Right? You got it yet?
Yeah. Lamed Zayin, what pasuk?
Yotes.
Yosef is sent to visit his brother.
Yeah, okay.
So it says actually in pasuk Yud Ches, it says, "Vayiru Isai merachoik." They saw him from a distance.
Right.
And Ubeterav Yakrav Aleim, and before he even came close to them, Vayisnaklu, and they were filled with plans
To kill him.
Vayomru ish el achiv, and a man said to his brother, Hine, behold, Baal hachaloimos halozeh ba. There's the dreamer is coming. V'ata, now lechu, let us go, v'nahargeu, and we will kill him. V'nashlicheu, and we will throw him b'achad habayros, in one of the pits. V'amarnu, and we will say, Chayara, that a wild animal, achalaso, ate him up. And then we'll see what will be with his dreams. So they said, let's kill him. So Reuven...
Who are you talking about? Simeon and Levi?
It doesn't say.
It doesn't say. It says the brothers, except for Reuben and Yehuda.
It says brothers. And Reuven heard. So it's interesting. Right from here I could say, Vayishma Reuven, it sounds like Reuven was not the one speaking. Because it says, Vayishma Reuven, Reuven heard. Right? And he tried to save them, and he said, we should not kill any person. And why should you spill blood? Why don't we throw him into a pit? We don't want our hands to be guilty. And he was really intending to save him. So that was the idea there, that what Reuven was saying. So when Yosef came, they took off his beautiful coat and they threw him into the pit. And then they sat down and they were eating a meal. And then Yehuda said, why should we do this and throw him into a pit? Why don't we sell him to the Ishmaelim? And therefore, they took him out of the pit and they then sold him to the Ishmaelim. That's the story, what happens. And then Reuven came back and he said, where's Yosef? And they said, we sold him. Now, we have to focus back on Pasuk Yotes. Who is talking at the first Pasuk back in the beginning?
Vayomer Ish.
Ish. A man said to his brother.
What do you mean a man?
A man. So the question is, which man? So you have to go through it systematically Which man do you think it could have been? Right? Let's go through it slowly. Do you think it could have been? Well, I'm telling you, it doesn't seem that it is. It doesn't seem that it's Reuven, because Reuven said,
Right.
"Why should you kill him?"
That's right.
That's number one.
Yehuda is out.
Yehuda is also out. How do you know Yehuda's out?
He wanted to sell.
Want to sell them.
Because Yehuda said, "Why?"
Binyamin is out also.
Because Yehuda said, Yehuda said, what gain do we have if we sell him? If we kill him, let's sell him. So you see, Yehuda also was not maskim. He wasn't agreeing that they should kill him. So Reuven's out, Yehuda's out. Binyamin is out also.
He's really out.
Why?
It's not born.
He wasn't there.
He wasn't born yet? He was born.
He was born?
Yeah.
He wasn't there.
Just wasn't
He wasn't there.
Wasn't there.
He was born already. He was born in the end of Parashas Vayishlach.
He didn't let him.
He was a young lad.
Yeah, but he was a young lad. He was with his father probably.
Right.
So Binyamin's out. So we got 3 down, and Yosef is also out of the picture there. So now, who Elamai? The next one. Who else do we got? Maybe we have the sons of the Shvachos, the sons of the maidservants, right? Bilhah and Zilpah. They had 2 shvatim each.
Yeah, but
Right.
they weren't strong enough, personality-wise.
Bilhah and Zilpah. Who were their kids, right? Bilhah. They had Gad, Naphtali, and Asher,
Done?
and Dan. Right? So maybe it was them. Maybe it was God said to Asher. Right? God and Asher were the sons of Zilpah. Dan and Naphtali were the sons of Bilhah. Maybe one of them was saying to each other, let's kill him. So what were you saying?
I'm saying that that those, even though that they were half brothers, they were not in terms of
They were all half brothers.
yeah, but Leah and
Rachel were
Rachel
direct.
are were the 2 main
Yeah.
wives, and the other ones were concubines. So they never felt in a position that they could ever argue with the children from
Leah and Rachel.
Leah and Rachel. It was just
Psychological thing.
psychological.
Uh-huh.
They had more clout. That's it. Period. They had more clout. They would say, "What do you know? You're not even really you're not really even part of us. You know, you're just."
Okay, that's one idea. That is true. That is true.
And they rubbed it in their noses.
Oh, now,
Yeah, but
They rubbed it in.
who rubbed it in?
yeah, but wouldn't you be?
Who rubbed it in?
Oh, that is saying a good point.
What other brother?
So he had more. They had more intention.
What did Joseph? What did Joseph?
Maybe Yosef was the one who rubbed it in.
Maybe. It's like you need to come.
No, Yosef
Well,
was.
maybe.
Yosef was known to tattle tales, quote unquote, against his brothers.
Yeah, what did he tell?
He's talking about the meat about.
That they ate Aver Menachai. They ate a live animal, part of a live animal. That's one thing. What else did he say?
He told them about that they'll be bowing down to him.
Okay, he said that the brothers are going to bow down to him. Okay, that was just a dream. Okay, but he tattled on them 2 other things. One thing was maybe who they were marrying. That was another thing. But the third thing was that they were debasing and disgracing the sons of the maidservants. He told his father.
He stuck up for them.
He stuck up for them.
Oh, okay.
He told his father that your sons, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, are making fun of Gad, Asher, Dan, Naphtali, because
Yeah.
they're calling them shvachos, bnei shvachos. They're calling them maidservants, and servants of the sons
Right.
of the maidservants. So if anything,
Yeah.
They
would side
They
with
wouldn't.
Yosef.
They wouldn't They wouldn't have plotted against him probably.
So that's 4 of them off.
so Rashi therefore says, I'm going to read you Rashi.
So therefore
So Simon and
they
Levi.
wouldn't be the ones
That's
that were
right.
pushing
That's only
the salt.
Simon and Levi.
Right.
That's right. Oh, that's right. Interesting.
They were not the right.
That's good the way you broke it
That's
down.
interesting.
So therefore it says. So therefore,
That's
right?
a good one. That's a good one.
It's a clear pasuk. The pasuk, right? And the pasuk in Vayechi says.
It's good, but will we remember to tell it over properly?
No, that's a good one. That's a
Irving,
good
you'll
one.
remember this.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
That's a good one. Now you came up with something finally.
So,
Give me Yashkoy.
Now you came up with something.
and Rashi even brings that's what the pasuk in the beginning of Vayechi says by all these things of the dreams, and it says v'hunar es b'nei bilha ves b'nei zilpa, right? The pasuk, if you want, turn to the beginning of Vayechi, Perek Lamed Zayin, pasuk base, the second pasuk of the whole parsha. That he was you see where the beginning of Vayechi is?
Yeah.
So it says Vihunar, he was a young lad, right? The beginning, middle of the pasuk. The pasuk starts, pasuk base. Elo told us Yaakov Yosef ben Shevas Shana. He was 17 years old. He was the shepherd with his brothers, the sheep. Vihunar, he was a young man. As b'nei Bilha, that's b'nei Zilpa, Nishei Afif. Now it doesn't make sense. What does that mean? He was a young man by the b'nei Bilha and by the b'nei Zilpa. What about b'nei Leah? Why wasn't he by them? So Rashi says, following words, that he was Rogil Eitzel b'nei Bilha and b'nei Zilpa. He was Rogil means he was accustomed to hang around them. Why? Because his brothers were mevazin son. Because his brothers were disgracing those sons of the maidservants, who Mekarvan. He was Mekarev them. What does Mekarev them means? He's bringing them close. So therefore, like you have, kids in school. So there's the unfortunate kid who doesn't have so many friends.
Right.
So if you see someone who has a sensitive heart, he'll be Mekarev that boy, and he'll stick around him and play with him, because he knows he doesn't have any friends, or people are even making fun of that boy. So you'll bring him close and you'll play with him. So therefore, Yosef was Es b'nei Bilav, Es b'nei Zilpa. He was near them. Rogil, he was accustomed to be around them to help them out. He was Makar of them because they were being disgraced. So here you have it a second time, the same idea. That the pasuk, and Rashi says twice this idea that the brothers, they were disgracing the sons of the maidservants, but Yosef stuck up for the brothers. So therefore, that's how you know that. Okay, so therefore, it can't be any of the four sons of the maidservants, right? Gad, Asher, Naphtali, and Dan. They for sure are not the Ish Elachiv. They are not the man who said, "Let's kill him." It can't be Reuven or Yehuda, because Reuven and Yehuda, they were good. They wanted to save him. Reuven said, "Let's throw him in the pit. Don't kill him." So who was one who said kill him? It wasn't Yehuda. Yehuda said, "Let's sell him." So who does it have to be?
Shimon and Levi.
Is that all that's left?
Wait a minute.
No, there's
Four
two more.
sons of the maidservants. David, speak up, please. Four sons of the maidservants. Right, Yosef and Benjamin
that's
will
four.
take them out.
So God and
Reuven and Shimon
you're
are
saying
out.
God and Naphtali and Asher
And Dan,
and Dan, they're out.
they're out. Yosef and Benjamin, right, are also
Right.
out.
Yosef and Benjamin, they're out.
And Reuben and Yehuda.
And then
are out.
Reuven and Yehuda is
two
out.
more.
So you still
That's
have-
8.
Yeah.
So the two
They're
more is Shimon and Levi.
Two more, Shimon and Levi. Is that how many
No,
tribes
there's
we have?
12
We have
brothers.
10 tribes?
12.
12.
Well,
There's
we
a
don't
four.
have Menashe
Right.
and
I know.
There were still 12.
But there were 12
Yeah.
before. What happened was maybe it was
Yisachar-
switched around.
Yisachar-
But there
Yisachar.
were always 12,
And Zevulun. Yisachar and Zevulun.
right? There were two more, Yisachar and Zvulun. Right? Remember Yisachar and Zvulun?
They were
They're-
also a team. They were also a team.
they're
They're a great
Leah's.
team.
They're Leah's kids.
They're a great team. Yes, they were the last two children to be born to Leah. Reuben, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar, Zvulun. Reuben, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar, Zvulun. She had 6 children, and these were the last 2 of the 6. They're a great team. Yeah, they were a good team. Yisachar learned, and Zvulun, he provided for him. So maybe it was Yisachar and Zvulun.
They were there. They were there.
Sure, they were there. Yeah.
So
So they could have also conferred, but you're going to tell us now. You're going to give us insightful information.
On that, Rashi says,
Oh.
but they obviously were not the ones who spoke up, because they would not speak in front of their older brothers. There's a mitzvah in the Torah of you gotta respect your older brother.
And they were the young.
It's part of the Torah. It says, "Kabed es avicha ve'es imecha."
So Reuben was the oldest. Reuben was the oldest. So how could the others speak up against him? Speak contrary to them?
That's a good question also. One second. But one thing at a time. That's a good question. They asked that. But the first thing first. Kabed es avicha ve'es imecha means you should honor your father and mother. Right? One of the 10 Commandments.
And the oldest brother.
Kabed es avicha ve'es imecha. What's the vav? Ve'es imecha. So we learn out ve'es imecha comes to include your older brother. You have to honor your older brother. There's a mitzvah to honor your older brother. It's an argument between the Rambam and the Ramban. Is it from the Torah or is it from the Rabbanim? But in any event, there's a mitzvah to honor your older brother.
Any older brother or the Bechor?
So that's an argument also.
Okay.
That's an argument. Maybe we'll get into that in a minute also. But there is a mitzvah, and the mitzvah includes that you don't speak in front of your brother. It's like just like when someone comes to ask your father a question, you're not supposed to speak up and say, "I think," if your father's asked the question, you let your father answer. So Rashi therefore says, Yisachar and Zvulun, they wouldn't speak in front of their father, in front of their brother, their older brother. Rashi actually does say, Achehem. He actually says in front of their older brothers. So that seems to answer your question, that they wouldn't speak in front of any of their older brothers. Not only Reuven, but they wouldn't speak in front of Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. And therefore it can't be them who had the idea. They would not suggest an idea, because it's not, it's even more than derech eret. It's right. I believe this goes into the mitzvah of kabed es avicha ve'es imecha, that you have to honor your brother. Honor your older brother means you can't speak up and suggest that I think we should throw him in the pit, we should kill him. No. Therefore, it must be that it wasn't Yisachar and Zvulun either. So therefore Rashi now comes full circle, and he says, Al karchach. Al karchach means against your will. Now you have to agree to me, at least now, that it was Shimon and Levi who are called Achim. They are the ones who are called brothers.
Shimon and Levi are the second and third to be born, right?
Yes.
Reuben, Shimon, and Levi, right? That's the order, yeah?
Yes. So it actually fits a little. It could be that that's what the pasuk is saying here. Shimon v'Levi Achim. You are the brothers. You are the brothers here. He's telling him, Vayemer ish el achiv. I believe that's the idea of Shimon Levi Achim. You're the brothers. You are the ones who did this, and you tried to uproot him. So he's giving them now. Yaakov is giving them reproof. What are you doing here? Why did you try to do that?
So it was really all of this is the real Shimon and Levi. They were the ones that instigated the killing of Yosef.
Right.
The others didn't want to kill, or didn't want to
go against.
Be neutral. Didn't want to go against him, or
right. Or they were too young to speak up. Right.
Right.
Any of those ideas, for sure.
But how could Shimon and Levi speak up? And you had the oldest brother there.
Oh, so now Irving and David is asking the following question.
Except Reuben spoke after.
So, but how could they
presented their plot, and then Reuben.
But how could they speak up and say something in front of their older brother?
Right.
He's the oldest, if anything.
Reuven.
Yeah. And Reuven was
to speak up, or is it to contradict, or say
So I'll show you Rashi. If you want to see Rashi, right? What page is this on?
That means it would be a very quiet surrounding.
No, it means to suggest an idea of what we should do to carry out a plot, right? That, of course, they had conversation and everything, but in terms of what to do with someone, when he wouldn't say such a thing. Let me show you where the Rashi is, so you could find it on your own on Shabbos when you're going to present this at the table. Page 276, first column. 8 to 10 lines down from the top. In the end of the line, it says, "Hey, pasuk Hey, Shimon Levi Achim."
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah, Shimon Levi are brothers.
Yeah, Shimon Levi are brothers. Be'etza achas al Shechem, they were with one etza that they wanted to kill Shechem. V'al Yosef, and with one etza, they had one piece of advice that they tried to kill Yosef. V'yoymu ish el achiv, that was that pasuk that a man said to his brother back in Parshas Vayeshev. Lechu v'ato lechu, let's go. V'nahageh will kill him. Miheim, who is the man and his brother? Im Toimar Ruvain, if you think it's Ruvain or Yehuda, that can't be. Hare lo yiskimu beharigasa. They would never agree. They never agreed that he should be killed. Ruvain tried to save him. Yehuda tried to save him. Im Toimar bnei hashvachos, if you say it was the sons of the maidservants, Hare lo haisa sin asan shlema. His sinna, the hatred, that was not. There was no hatred towards those brothers.
Against Yosef.
They loved him. He loved them. He was makar of them. So there was no sinna shlema. There was no hatred in full. They didn't hate him. Shenamar, because the pasuk says, "V'hu nar," he was a young man.
Yeah.
As Bnei Billah, he was right next to Bnei Billah, Bnei Zilpah. Yisachar Zvulun, maybe it was Yisachar and Zvulun. Lahayu medabrim, they would not have spoken b'fnei acheihem, in front of their brothers, hagedolim mehem, who were bigger than them.
Zvulun and Yisachar.
Right. Yisachar and Zvulun were bigger than them.
They were the younger brothers of Leah's kids. They were the two youngest brothers.
Right.
Zvulun and Yisachar.
Right.
They would. Okay. So there has to be Shimon and Levi.
Right.
And
So
they have a tendency of using violence.
Right.
That's
Right.
why he scolded them. That's why he's so hard on them. Yaakov.
Yes. Oh, so that's what we see over here so far. So now Irving here asked the question. The question was, what about the fact that how could Reuben and Shimon suggest such a thing when they had Yehuda, when they had Reuben? Reuben was there. So if you're not supposed to speak in front of your older brother, it's not right. It's a mitzvah. So how could you think that Reuben and Shimon spoke in front of their older brother?
Oh, Shimon and Levi.
Yeah. So right on the side, at least in the regular Chamashim, there's someone called the Sifsei Chachamim, which is a gathering of the great people who wrote about Rashi, like Rabbi Eliyahu Mizrahi and the Maharal. And he asked the question already. And the Maharshal says that was the minute that Reuben left. Because if you remember, the story was that they
came back.
Oh,
he came
right.
back. Right, they were all there.
Oh, yeah.
One man said to his brother,
Right.
now it's interesting here.
So they were conniving.
So
Let's throw him in the pit.
let's throw him in the pit.
Right.
So what man,
Then Reuven left.
So they.
first what happened at the beginning?
before.
Actually, so the question is,
No. First they said, Shimon and Levi said, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Shimon said, let's kill him. And Reuven says, let's throw him in the pit.
oh, so this is interesting.
So then it doesn't go what you say.
No, but actually a big question here, because what happened here? One man said to his brother, let's kill him. So Reuven said,
No, he says he heard. What is it?
Vayishma Reuven, he heard them. He heard them. It does say he heard them, yes.
He heard about what they're planning to do.
He had
So
to.
he must have come back, and then
You want to say it means he came back after?
it kind of makes sense.
Well, let me tell you what happened after that. Right? If you want, it's in Perek Lamed Zayin Pasuk Chaf Aleph. If you want to see.
202, right? 202, I think.
Yeah.
Reuben heard, and he.
Bottom
rescued
line in page 202. Reuben heard. So I always thought it meant he heard. He heard them saying that. So he said, "Oh, don't kill him. Rather, you should." It's interesting. Reuben seemed to try to save him.
Yeah.
Right? Said that he wanted to save him. So what happened? So they took him and they threw him into the pit. They listened to Reuben. Then Then it says that what happened is that they threw him in. And then later it says Yehuda said to his brothers, why should we throw him into the pit? Why should we kill him? Let's sell him to the Yishmaelim. So they actually sold him. And then in the next pasuk, in pasuk Chav Tes, it says that Reuben came back to the pit because he wanted to save him. And Yosef was not here anymore. And he tore his clothes. He said, he went to the brothers, where is Yosef? I thought we decided we're putting him in the pit. So the brothers said, no, we decided to sell him. It was Yehuda's idea, we'll sell him. So Rashi says over there, what do you mean Reuven? Where was Reuven? Why didn't he know that they sold him?
He was checking on the flock or something.
So Rashi says, what?
He was out checking the herd or something?
No. Rashi says two answers. One answer is that it was his day.
He had to go back to his father.
Right. It was his day to serve his father.
Right.
And therefore he had to run back. Which means I always learned that a man that he was with the brothers. The brothers, Reuben, Shimon said to Levi, let's go kill him. Reuben said, don't kill him. Let's put him in the pit. So they put him in the pit, and then Reuben had to run off to help his father. Then the brothers took him and sold him to the Yishmaelim. And then Reuben came back and said, oh, where is he?
You're making it sound as though that Yaakov couldn't be alone. And Binyamin was with him all the time, but he was a nar, so he wasn't taking responsibility for his wife. He sent Yosef away to find his brother, so there was already that period of time that he was without a brother. So what's this idea of they all had to be
That's true, that's a good point.
No, l'shamish, it could be also to serve him and to learn with him. It could also be to learn with him.
Okay.
So that's the one answer that Rashi says where Reuven was. Another answer is that Reuven went to do teshuvah for moving the beds. When Rachel died, he moved the beds, so now he went to do teshuvah. Right here he went to teshuvah, and then they sold him to the Ishmaelim in the interim, and then he came back and said, where is Reuven? That's how I always learned this. So according to that, you're asking that the Maharshal it's a funny thing that he's saying this, that sounds like he's learning up that Reuven went to do teshuvah back from the beginning.
How long ago was that incident?
But how could that be? The problem is that Reuven himself said, let's throw him in the pit. So it sounds like Reuven, according to Maharshal, Reuven wasn't there in the beginning, and then Vayishma, you want to say, he heard afterwards, and he said, let's throw him in the pit.
How could he heard afterwards if he was proposing to throw him in the pit?
He came. No, I'm saying the question is, was Reuven there in the beginning?
How doing it? He's the one who suggested.
Right. That's what I think.
Not to kill.
Right.
So
that's
what like he had to be.
So this Marshal is a little bit of an interesting idea. Like he's saying this. Another thing, the truth is that when Yosef was disguised as the king of Mitzrayim, he disguised himself. He made believe he didn't speak Hebrew.
Right.
And he had an interpreter there to make it look like he doesn't understand the Hebrew, and he heard them saying a conversation to themselves, right? When he said, now we're going to take Binyamin away, and Binyamin was caught with the Becher, he said, okay, we're going to take Binyamin away. So there's an exchange.
Oh, they said, you're getting paid back now for what we did to our brother.
Right. You know what the exchange was? It's very interesting words.
I told you not to do it.
Who said that? Reuven said, I told you not to do it. Look at it, Perek Mem Beis, Pasuk Chaf Beis, which is in Parshas Miketz, page 236. That it starts on the top that the brother said, oh, we're guilty, it's our fault why Binyamin is being taken in. Why?
Did I not?
We heard our brother when he was pleading. Yosef was pleading, don't sell me. This is all the unspoken. It's not in Parshas Vayechi, but now we see the details that Yosef was pleading them, please don't sell me, don't throw me in the pit. And we didn't listen to him. V'lo shamanu, we didn't listen. And therefore this tragedy came on us. Pasuk Chaf Beis, right, the third line from the top. Vayan Reuven oisam, and Reuven answered them, Lamar, saying, Haloya marti lachem Lamar, I told you, al techatu b'yeled, don't sin with the child. V'lo shamatem, you didn't listen. V'gam dama yinei nidrosh. Which means I told you what you should have listened to me. Which means that he seems to be saying here that But when did they not listen to him? So when he said, let's throw him in the pit, they did listen to him.
Yeah.
But it seems that from the beginning, he might have suggested even more. Maybe he suggested more things to try to save Yosef, and he wasn't successful. Which means he probably said, don't even hurt Yosef at all. Don't throw him in a pit. Don't do anything. They wouldn't listen to him on that. But the very least that he was successful was that they shouldn't kill him. That much they were successful about.
But the thing is, the two brothers still, when Reuben was there, they spoke up while their oldest brother was there.
Oh, so therefore now we're back to the question here. If Reuben was there, so then how could they speak? How could Reuben and how could Shimon and Levi speak up in front of Reuben? That's Irving's question, right? Is that good?
Yeah.
Back to Irving's question. So on that, I'll tell you. You know the answer?
Well, I kind of looked and.
Yeah. Who says the answer?
You said that.
On the bottom.
Want me to say it or?
Yeah,
no?
sure.
Well, no. It says having explained why Reuben forfeited the prerogatives of the birthright. Is that it or no?
Well, you want to say
that because he forfeited, that made the two, or then became the oldest.
Yeah, but
No, I guess not.
he wants to say. Well, David's saying an interesting idea. Maybe Reuben, since he forfeited the firstborn, so maybe now the younger brothers were allowed to speak up in front of Reuben.
No, well, yeah, wait a minute. That he forfeited the firstborn, that's because of his sin regarding
Right.
mixing into between the mothers.
Right.
So he didn't forfeit it. It was just that he was punished.
Right. He was punished. So David says so. Maybe now he's not the firstborn anymore.
It's like, yeah.
So maybe Shimon and Levi can speak up. That's an
the
interesting
point,
yeah.
David.
it's also interesting that Shimon was the one that Yosef held back. Is there a connection between it being Shimon and Levi that spoke
Yes.
up and the Shimon being the one held
What
back?
happened right away when the brothers
Oh,
came?
because he did it purposely. Because he knew that if
He
they
knew it
would
was
be
Shimon and
together,
Levi?
they're going to cause violence.
Exactly. That's what Rashi says
That's why he
clearly.
pricked him.
Right.
Did we get the camera that faced it and not on here? And
Yes.
Yeah.
That was an excellent point.
not on.
What do you want?
Excellent. You have an excellent point.
it.
Thank you, Shkoyach. That was actually clear Rashi. Clearly, beautiful. I want to just read it to you, just to show you it says what it says. It says there. Let me read this.
It's so interesting that it turns out that Levi Levi ends up being the
Here, let me read you this point. Here we go. I think.
Cohen, and then you have the Levim that look after the Mishkan and all, like the serving the Kohanim. And these, and by nature, they're
Shimon, he locked up Shimon on Perek Mem Beis Pasuk Chaf Dalid. He took Shimon, Perek Mem Beis Pasuk Chaf Dalid, and he locked them up to their eyes. Rashi says, why Shimon? Who hishlicha ela bar? Shimon was the one who threw him into the pit. Who shama Levi? And he's the one who also said to Levi, look, this is the one who had all the dreams. He's coming. Which means Shimon and Levi, they were the ones who started off, and and here we're saying that Shimon actually even did more than Levi. Shimon was
Levin was more of a follower to Shimon.
Right, because Rashi's saying, see, Yosef heard it. Yosef must have heard that Shimon said to Levi, look, the dreamer's coming.
yeah.
So Levi said, oh.
Oh, when they were walking, when he was walking.
Yes, when he's walking towards them. Yes.
He heard them. He heard him Shimon say, "Oh, the dreamers walk." That's interesting.
So therefore, Shimon needed more of a kapara. He needed more atonement. So Yosef locked him up. That's part of the idea why he locked him up.
Very good.
So he was the, and he was the one who actually threw him into the pit.
Shimon.
Right. So that's why he picked
That's
Shimon.
also a good reason.
Yeah.
He was the one that put his hands and threw him into the pit.
It's like Nida Keneged Mira. He threw him to the pit. He threw him into jail.
Right. That's the first idea why he locked up Shimon. But the first idea was maybe because he needed more of a kapara, atonement. But the second one is he wanted to simply separate him from Levi, because together they're very dangerous. He says, they kill the whole city of Shechem, maybe they'll decide to kill Yosef. So therefore he wanted to separate them. Now, in terms of, so there we see a bunch of times here that Shimon and Levi are cropping up, and right, we find them right there. We find them, he said to his brother. We find right here they're called brothers. Now, in terms of your question, how could Shimon and Levi speak up in front of Reuven? So there's two answers that I found on this question. One answer is brought down on the bottom here. I'll tell you who that's from.
Well, I like the one that Dave answered today.
David answered also.
That he forfeited his.
So the question is, do you lose your status as firstborn now?
Yeah.
Which means we have to think about the idea. Why do you have to honor your older brother? Is it because he didn't destroy his mother's womb? Is that the reason? Maybe he kept his mother's womb in place, so now the younger brother could come out. Is that the reason? Or is it because the brother is sort of taking over his father?
Well, the Bechor always gets double status.
Or because, right, he takes over his father, he has like a special status in
double
place of his
portion.
father. Good, something to think about. Let me just read you here another answer, another possible answer here. Because you have another question also. So how could Reuven? Rashi thought about Reuven and Yehuda. Right, Rashi said Reuven didn't want to kill him. Yehuda also didn't want to kill him. Rashi said because Yehuda wanted to save him. Yehuda said, "What gain will we have?" Why did Rashi say that Yehuda said, "What gain will we have?" Rashi could have said another idea that Yehuda was a younger brother. He was even younger than Shimon and Levi. So
when he spoke up again.
So how could you?
Right.
So how could Rashi have even thought that maybe the one who said to his brother was Yehuda? Why did Rashi entertained the thought that maybe it was Yehuda? So Rashi said no, it wasn't Yehuda because Yehuda really wanted to save him.
Right.
So why does he have to say that reason? It's true. I guess maybe you could say that since he saw they wanted to save him, so therefore it wasn't even a question.
Did he want to really save him, or was he just looking for his share of the 20 pieces of silver? Was it for money or for
No.
reasons?
He wanted to save.
Reuben says he came back because he had good intentions to bring him out of the pit and to take him back to his father. It doesn't say that about Yehuda. So it's like it says he's the one who put the idea about selling him for money. So they all split up the money. Or the shoes or whatever, I can't remember what it was. But was it altruistically or was it really for the money?
So Rashi says he wasn't agreeing. He didn't agree. Rashi's words are, on this Rashi, he says, it can't be Reuven because Reuven he never agreed
to kill.
Kill. Yeah. So, here we have to think about it. But he holds that Rashi seems to be saying that the same way he didn't want him to be killed, he wouldn't, right? He wouldn't want him to. He wasn't agreeing.
And it's later on in the Chumash that it's Reuben that puts up his sons to his father, and it's Yehuda that also puts up, whereas Yehuda.
Reuben offered, and Yehuda actually.
He was prepared to. He said to Pharaoh, no.
But in terms of Reuben, it could be Reuben could speak up anyway, because Reuben was. He brings down here. Reuben was the leader. He was the right. He says the Gibor, the king. He was the king, so he could speak up. That's why Rashi has to say that. The reason why I know it's not Yehuda is because Yehuda never agreed to it. Yehuda wanted to save him, because as a king he could have spoken up. He was the king of the brothers.
Yeah, but there's something that Reuven lacks as a firstborn.
Right. So David's saying, right. But Rashi.
Because Shimon and Levi, if what you're saying, they didn't respect him as a first brother.
You want to say that's a good answer here. Interesting.
That's a good one.
That's an interesting answer.
Respect him enough.
David, that's a nice shot.
And Yehuda, even though that he's the middle brother, he's younger, but his personality and his...
But he was the Gibor. He was the king, so he could speak up. The truth is, they say also in terms of, let's say, the sons of the maidservants, why did Rashi even entertain the thought that they would speak up in front of their brothers? They're younger also. God, Asher, Yosef, God, Asher, and Dan, Naphtali, they were also younger. They were much younger. So why did Rashi even have a doubt that they would speak up in front of their older brothers? So here it comes up to the question of, do you have to honor your older brother from the father, but it's not your brother from the mother? Because God, Asher, Yosef, and Benjamin, Reuben, they were not brothers with Reuben, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda from the mother. They weren't brothers. So therefore, you could say an answer that maybe you only have to honor your brother if he's your full brother from your father and from your mother. But God, Asher, Yosef, and God, Asher, and Dan, Naphtali, they weren't brothers, full brothers with Reuben, Shimon. So therefore, maybe they have a right to speak up. You're not my older brother in the full sense of the form, full form. So this is an idea that you have to know what is the mitzvah. So that's what some say, that they were paternal brothers, but it's not the same like a full brother. That's a good answer, how to explain how they could even think of speaking up. And Shimon and Levi. So this Pirush on the bottom wants to say Shimon and Levi spoke up together. So since they both spoke up together, so two could speak up even in the presence of Reuven. It's like two people could maybe say something. If you have two people together, and
that makes sense, because that's what Yosef, he wanted to separate them because he saw how powerful they are together. So he threw one of them in to separate.
He wanted to separate
grouping of the two.
Right. It was a grouping. The fact that they're both together. Okay, this could be. This is one idea that they bring down here, because since they were together. But the truth is, in the Shulchan Aruch, it rules that a person has to honor his older brother, whether it's from the mother or whether it's from the father. In both cases, the Shulchan Aruch says you have to give your older brother respect. And although the Minchas Chinuch says it doesn't mean that you can't call him by his first name. You're allowed. It changes. It's a different level of honor. It doesn't mean you can't. Right? You could call him by his first name, but in reference to, for example, we have right here, not to speak up in front of him, speak first. Maybe in certain cases you're supposed to maybe. I don't think you have to stand up for him, but we'll have to think about. There are different ways how to honor him, and the Minchas Chinuch says you would have to be careful about this type, this idea. However, it would be relevant. You would have to apply that to the brother, to the older brother. He says, yeah. So that's what will come out from that. The only other reason why a person, just to suggest maybe why you have to honor your older brother, is maybe because your parents, that's what your parents want. That would give your parents, their will is that you should treat your brother nicely. So could be that it's based on that. That's why you have to honor your older brother. Which means we learn out from the word ves, but the question is, what is ve'et kabed asavich? You have to honor your older brother, but is the reason because your brother, he didn't destroy your mother's womb? That's one reason. Then it would be the brother from the mother. Or is it because your parents, that's their wish, that you should honor your older brother, and then it would be any brother.
Well, when it comes to like Yerisha, the older Bechor gets double.
Right. So it seems that the idea.
So why does the brother get double? Why does the Bechor get double, as opposed to the other children?
Yes, it seems there that he steps up in the place of the father. He will take over the father. So that could be another reason why it would be why he would now be. You have to honor him because he has that place in second instead of the father, backing up the father. So then it would be a brother from the father specifically. Okay.
Thank you.
We have some food for thought for Shabbos.
That was beautiful.
Number of questions to go through. Bring it up.
So, technically speaking, Originally, there were 12 tribes,
Yeah.
right? But then what happens is Shimon, Menashe, and
So Reuven lost that name of being the firstborn, and now Yosef was divided into two, of Menashe and Ephraim instead.
so Reuven loses the fact of being a Shevet.
For certain things.
Sometimes Levi is and sometimes not, right?
Levi also sometimes alternates because he's a Kohen, so he didn't get, let's say, land. But in terms of it depends on for what. In terms of land, right, you have to see Reuven got a portion. But in terms of other things, Reuven wasn't counted as the.
When Reuven goes to see his father, he's tough on him. He's
yes, right here, yeah, sure. With this week's parsha,
he's very tough on him.
Yeah, and he said because you acted so impulsively, so he said, this week we say the bracha of Menashe and Ephraim.
Right.
That Menashe and Ephraim you will be the firstborn. So he says those words. He said,
Sounds like.
Yivarech Hasan Aram. He gave them a special blessing. So that was
Doesn't it say like Reuben, like Shimon and Levi?
Reuven v'Shimon
Should be like Reuven.
and
Should be like
Yeah.
Shimon and Menashe, like
right.
Menachem.
Menashe and Ephraim.
Menashe.
Ephraim and Menashe Reuven v'Shimon Yehuli. They will be, it'll be just like Reuven and Shimon are two tribes. Ephraim and Menashe will be two tribes. So Rashi brings up the idea they will get a part of the land. They will get a regular part of the land. That's what Rashi says. Just like my other sons. So Ephraim and Menashe will take just like all the other sons.
Because they were raised in Golus and they were just like.
So I have to see why.